Hey guys, welcome back into the video. So I guess CDPR senior designer decided to reveal the real reason why. Remember, there was supposed to be a multiplayer portion of Cyberpunk 2077? Because before release, they were saying, oh, it's probably going to be similar to GTA Online and all this and all that. Well, then the reason why it's been cancelled officially, and you're about to find out why. It's a pretty logical reason, but anyway, here we go. Before Cyberpunk 2077 launched, CDPR talked about its multiplayer titles set in the same universe. First details were also apparently data mined. Following disastrous launch, CEO Adam Kaczynski, I probably said that wrong, revealed last year the studio reconsidered releasing it. Instead, the plan is to gradually add multiplayer activities to the Cyberpunk and Witcher series. Cyberpunk 2077 senior quest designer and coordinator Philip Weber, who is also the narrative director for the next Witcher game, provided more details to Eurogamer on why multiplayer never happened. We really need to look out the priorities for Cyberpunk launch. The priorities that the main expense will run for the people in really good state. And essentially, the switch of priorities meant that other R&D projects had to go away. With Cyberpunk, we wanted to focus on many things at the same time, and we just needed to focus and said, okay, what's most important? Yeah, we'll go make that part really good. There's still plenty of fans of the franchise to look forward to, like the paid expansion, Phantom Liberty. I'm really excited for that, launching next year, and Cyberpunk is also received a Game of the Year edition afterwards, along with more free updates like a revamped play system and melee combat. A sequel that is codenamed Project Orion is also in development and will require between 350 to 500 developers as the core team moves to Boston. Regarding that, they also said that that game will actually enter production in some form next year, so they're already planning way ahead, so seemingly they're going to truly be working on multiple games at once. Which kind of makes sense though, because they want to expand and get more games out quickly, which I can understand that because the development time between The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk was what, 5 years? If I remember right, because Witcher 3 came out in 2015 and Cyberpunk came out, 2020, which you could argue that it should have been delayed again until, this year when the next gen upgrades came out for the PS5 and Series X. That was where I think it was in a good state from there's still bugs here on off, obviously, but it's still definitely way better than what it was when it first released, essentially 2 years ago at this point. But yeah, this kind of makes sense, why they would kind of move priorities, because they had to. They literally had to do what they did, which is canceling the multiplayer, and it was probably for the best. So, because they had to get the single player part in a good state, and that was literally the core thing. And that's typically what CPR is known for, is for their single player RPGs. And Cyberpunk 2077 promised a lot that didn't deliver. Not to mention there was the whole mess, where it wasn't right on last gen consoles, to the point where it's basically unplayable. And they outright hid that from reviewers, where they would let reviewers record their own footage of the console versions. They made them use, panned footage that CPR sent over. You all kind of get the whole idea of where I'm getting at. So this ain't shockingly surprising. Hopefully they learned their lesson with the future of both Cyberpunk and the upcoming Witcher 4, or whatever they're gonna call it, since it's the start of a new saga. And there's also the Witcher remake, and apparently that's coming after Witcher 4. That's going to be interesting, and apparently that remake is going to be changed to be open world, like their other RPGs typically are. So that's kind of surprising, actually, but because from the very beginning I was thinking that Witcher was always open world. I guess not. I guess I was wrong. But Witcher 3 is what put them on the map, though, and Cyberpunk, they wanted to eclipse that, and it blew up in their face because management, screwed it up, to put it nicely. So, hopefully they learn a lesson from this, and I'll be curious to see how CPR shapes up in the future, especially when it comes to both Witcher and Cyberpunk. And I think that all starts with the Cyberpunk expansion next year, and hopefully it's really good. And if the storytelling of the expansion is anything like the main game, I'm all in for it. So I'm pretty excited for it. It's gonna be curious to see what happens in the future, but I guess time will tell. Over the next decade probably for CPR. Hopefully they learned a lot of lessons, as they claim they do. But hey, time will tell, like I just said. So anyway, what do you guys think of this quick news update on Cyberpunk 2077? It's not surprising that the multiplayer got cancelled, and it was for a very good reason. So, because they needed to get the game working properly first, before doing anything. So, let me know down in the comment section below, and if you like this video, hit the like button, and consider hitting that sub button so you do not miss any more videos, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good one.